Win big with new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all three past performance formats. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code ONEFREEPP for a free single card today.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Friday, October the 25th. It's race number 9 at Keeneland, one of 2 stakes races on the card. But this is the Grade 2 Valley View for 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the turf. $350,000 is the purse. It's a full field. It's a wide open race. Before we get to it, 10% off DRF past performances for you. All you have to do is access by using the QR code on your screen. Use the coupon code DRFTV. 10. Here's the field for the Valley View. Remember to access free formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Take a look and handicap along with us. Again, it's a giant field, 12 in the body of the race, 13 through 16 also eligibles, and a little bit of everything. A European invader from the rail, Opera Mundi, and a horse that invaded from Europe successfully last time out, the number 4, Le Ray. That was an eye-catching stretch run in the Winter Memories in New York.
Yeah, Le Ray arrived in good form from France and then brought that good form with her to win the Winter Memories at Aqueduct last time. Going this distance, Dan, really nice performance, 90 Beyer speed figure. Now she's the morning line favorite in a Grade 2.
The problem with Le Ray is it seems like she needs a little bit of pace to attack. And as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, oh no, it's the gray bar, the dreaded no speed. Well, it's a big advantage if the 2 poolside with Slim and the great Frankie Dettori decide to take advantage of this one's natural tactical speed. She's won from on the lead in the past. She's won from off the pace. Suddenly tells me Frankie's going to read this pace scenario right and put this one on the lead.
Yeah, that horse is supposed to go to the front in here. We'll see how it plays out behind her because there are tactical horses in this race, Dan. Certainly the 8 and the 12 are both tactical. I thought the 7, Pharaoh's Wine, would be a horse maybe you'd see a little bit more forwardly placed if the pace, especially if the pace is slow. But it does feel like the 2 could easily make the lead in here.
We'll start things out with the Stranger, a horse that has no pace data because she's been competing exclusively overseas, and that's the number 1, Opera Mundi, who makes her first North American start for Brendan Walsh. She's having a sensational year, and why not? He's a sensational trainer. This one's most recent start came going 3/4 of a mile over a soft turf course at Deauville. I thought she ran okay. She was sort of covered up in between horses at the back. She got a split. She ran on at the end. I still think the connections overseas were trying to figure out her best distance. They were really running her 7, loath to run her a mile. Rendon seems like he's got no problems running her a mile. They got to be happy with the rail.
Yeah, didn't love the actually dropping back to 6 for her last time. It didn't really seem like it worked out. She got pretty far away early in that race, and she was pretty game running out through the stretch. She was never going to win, but I thought she finished fine in that race. To me, Dan, I don't know about you. I liked her races as a 2-year-old. She was very handy in those races, getting good trips up close to the pace. And I really do feel like they probably pointed her to the 1,000 guineas in France this year. Didn't work out for her. Her next start, they run her against the boys in a Group 3 against an undefeated horse who's come back to win a Group 1. She had no chance in there. I like her stretching out. I like the rail, and I like this field that she's in against.
Tyler gets the mount for Brendan Walsh. Poolside with Slim could be the key to this race because she could be the speed and she could back down the fractions. And listen, she's pretty good in her own right. She won the Penn Oaks 3 starts back. She got a very nice trip in behind the lead under Frankie, and she was able to get home. In her last 2 starts, she's shown that sort of tactical speed. She's finished behind a couple of these. But I think, again, get her to the lead, let her get brave. She's very dangerous.
Yeah, I get the reasons why she's dangerous too, that I'm not going to really add anything to that. I'm just not a big fan of hers. I don't think she's that good. I get that trips could make all the difference here, and Frankie's going to probably do the right thing with her and have her in the right position. She's 5-1 on the morning line. That's not enough for me. I don't like this horse. I want somebody else.
Memorialize, very lightly raced for Graham Motion. What a great trainer Graham is. And he got him home in the Teppen last time out. This is Memorialize, only the 4th start of her career. And she really comes with a pretty strong kick to wear down the pace setters. Earned a 74 Beyer speed figure. That's a career high. Now she's going to have to run a little bit faster against a tougher group.
Yeah, the layoff is the main concern here, as good as Graham Motion is off of layoffs. This is a really long one, especially for a filly who was really, really good at 2. And the fact that he couldn't get her back at 3 until now just suggests that something went wrong. Her debut was an unbelievable performance after the rider almost fell off. She was really good at Saratoga. She was wide to nowhere in the Ms. Grill. That's an underrated performance. And then that race we just saw where she came with a huge finish. I mean, her figures are a little light, but they're 2-year-old figures, Dan. I hate the layoff, but I like her as a horse.
The 4 is Le Ray. She's won 3 in a row, including her North American debut in the Winter Memories. I was a little bit surprised that she was a bit cold on the tote board. She was 6-1 in this race, and she was in really good form coming in, as Mike mentioned. She's in behind horses. She's looking for a seam, and once she spies the seam, she explodes.
Yeah, really good finish. Great ride here from Rosario, too, Dan, because he got to save a lot of ground with her. This was the opening day of the fall meet there at Aqueduct. You wanted to save ground on the inner turf course, and he did that, got to split. She did the rest in there. Another really strong finish from her. I liked her form before she left France. I liked that performance too. But she was, 6-1 last time, Dan. She'll be the favorite here.
Kalispera is the number 5, close third in the Pucker Up, a graded stakes race 2 starts back at Ellis. They ran her at Kentucky Downs, and we say it all the time in these previews. If a horse doesn't fire at Kentucky Downs, don't hold it too much against her. I actually think this mare is a little bit underrated. The problem is her running style. She has no speed, and if Timeform US's pace projection is right and there's no speed, how does it set up for her?
Yeah, it might not set up well at all for her, and it's a big problem. That being said, I do think she can go with these horses, and I just don't care about her most recent start. And I really liked her Pucker Up 2 starts back. I thought she ran really well in that race.
Sakura Blossom is the number 6. I believe she's Florent Giroux's second call. His first call is on the also eligible list. This one will get blinkers again. She ran okay in the Del Mar Oaks 2 starts back, a grade 1, sort of an even performance, going 1 1/8 at a giant price. She's yet to win on turf. She's still relatively unexposed, though. I think she does need a lifetime best.
Yeah, I like this trainer a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It just feels like there's so much working against this horse, Dan. She's kept good company and she hasn't been embarrassed by them, but she's another one with maybe the wrong running style for this race. I mean, it just doesn't feel like there's any setup for her. She doesn't have a lot of early speed.
Pharaoh's Wine did go gate to wire 2 starts back, going 1 mile at Ellis Park. That was a non-winners of 2 life allowance. However, they found the right spot in the condition book. She was odds on, and then she took advantage of getting to the lead and backing down the fractions. She ran okay in her subsequent start at Kentucky Downs, when behind Simply in Front, so she's in good form. And these connections have always treated her like a good horse. They've spotted her pretty aggressively.
Yeah, that's true. And it's worth pointing out, too, that right off the maiden win last year, they ran her in the Jessamine, the grade 2 here. She acquitted herself very well in that race and finished second. So she likes this turf course, too. We'll see. I think she does have to improve to win here, but I also feel like there's a really good trip coming for this horse. And I just think we'll see how the betting all shakes out. I think 30-1 on the morning line is way too big a price.
Buttercream Babe, the number 8, is tactical as well, and I won't be surprised if she tucks in behind the 2 and the 7. And she looked good winning at Saratoga with a good trip during that Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. I thought she had a bad trip when she ran 3rd at Horseshoe Indianapolis. She was bottled up. She really didn't get a chance to run. They ran her in the Hall of Fame against boys. I thought she ran just fine that day. And then last time out of Kentucky Downs, she didn't break and might not have handled the course. I think Buttercream Babe's a little bit better than she looks on paper, and she's going to get a trip for IRAD.
I agree with all that stuff, Dan. I mean, I don't really have anything to add to it. There's a good trip coming. She obviously fits well here. She's clearly better at 3 than she was at 2. Just makes a lot of sense in here. And I actually think the 9-2 morning line is very fair.
Dancing in Dixie, another horse that might not have cared for Kentucky Downs last time out. They ran her in the Saratoga Oaks 2 starts back. They really stretched her out. They ran her against Cinderella's Dream, who's heading to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. She was a little bit overmatched that day, but her prior one in the Tepin was pretty good. She came with a good, strong late kick to win that day, but she's another one. I think at the mile, she needs pace help.
Yeah, that's the issue I have with her too. I like her as a horse. She shows up every single time. I suspect she'll show up and run well here. But when she won the Tepin 3 starts back, big, strong pace in front of her. She came to the outside and closed it down. This race doesn't seem like it's going to set up that way.
Bill Mott tried dirt with the 10 uphill dance first time in the Mott barn, ran okay in the grade 3 Dogwood against an underrated filly in My Main Squeeze. This one has some solid turf form at Woodbine, but there's really nothing that just jumps off the page at me.
Yeah, me either. And the more I tried to take those races apart too, Dan, I just don't love those races. I get the 2 back in the Colleen. She got wired in there. There wasn't a ton of pace. So maybe I'm not giving her enough credit for that, but I do think she has to improve quite a bit here.
Nicest Pie is the number 11, and I'm kind of a fan of hers. I really like the work she did over the Tapeta surface at Turfway Park. She reeled off, 4 consecutive wins there, but I think she's okay on turf as well. Watched the Penn Oaks back about an hour before we went on the air, and I still don't understand why this filly was 15 lengths out of it on the backstretch, while Poolside with Slim just had a perfect trip. And then she cut the corner, followed, and just couldn't get there. She had too much work to do. And last time out, yes, she was back on a Tapeta surface, but that was a good field.
Yeah, a really good field. And she had a right to need that race anyway. It didn't help either that she had to go outside while the winner got up the inside on her there. So whatever. I thought she ran fine in that race. I do really like her synthetic performances. I like her turf races too. You know, like you, her Penn Oaks was good. And you're right. She was probably too far away, but boy, what a ride Rispoli gave her to get her into position there. That was a great closer's trip. She's going to need one of those against this field.
Simply in front's the number 12, and she scored the Music City last time out, a graded stakes race at Kentucky Downs, going 6.5 furlongs. She really seemed to relish this turf course, but she had been in good form previously, earning a graded stakes placing at Woodbine. She was a first-level allowance winner over this distance at Churchill Downs. I like the run she put in to win this race.
I do too. I mean, she certainly, listen, there are a couple of horses who are back in here who are finishing behind her in this race, and she certainly ran better than those horses did, especially when you go back to the start date. I mean, this horse totally blew the start of that race, wound up 3 or 4 lengths behind the field in last, and then just circled them around the turn and won, really, really convincingly. We talked about that on that Colleen 2 starts back. Probably pace compromise there as the winner went wire to wire on her.
4 horses on the also eligible list. I have to admit, I'm a really big fan of the 14 Whiskey Decision, and I would like to play her a little bit if she gets into this race. She was an easy winner at Delaware 3 starts back when they found a spot. Delmar Oaks, I thought they were too aggressive with her going 1 1/8. And last time out, just the trick didn't work out in New York.
Yeah, that's those things are all true. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about her anymore. She started out with a lot of potential. She's kind of lost me in her last couple of starts. I wouldn't mind seeing the 15 get in here at a big price.
Strike one ready. Yes, Nacho Correas has won her last 2 starts. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRFTV videos. Tons of Breeders' Cup coverage planned on DRFTV. Top pick time Friday, DRF race of the day. I want the Stranger Opera Mundi. You want the Stranger Opera Mundi.
We got the same exactly here, Dan. The recent import, LeRae, who just looked really good winning in New York, and now we'll get Opera Mundi first in this country. Great post, though. I like her form over there. I'm not afraid of any of these horses.
No, I think Mike made a very good point about her being a little bit dirtied up because she took on some very strong competition, and then just the cut back to 6 might have been too much for her last time. She's got a break, because if she doesn't, she'll be way behind the 8 ball in a race without much pace. 1-4-8-3 for Mike, 1-4-2-11 for me. It's the Valley View, Friday's DRF race of the day, one of 2 stakes races at Keeneland. Good luck.
Hey friends, you look like you're in need of a winner. If you enjoyed the great content right here, just click and subscribe right here and enjoy the great DRF.com race of the days, the phenomenal stakes previews, and so much more. Many of that content featuring me and my exceptional selections. Trust me, you won't regret it.